space weather forecast for this weekend. We're going to receive a solar storm arriving this weekend, and that will cause stunning auroras. So aurora watchers, northern light watchers, be on alert. Minor solar storm stream will be coming towards our direction February 15 and 16. An equatorial hole in the sun's atmosphere is facing our Earth, and it's spewing a minor stream of solar wind, according to space weather, in our direction. Estimated time of arrival February 15 and 16. This gaseous material is not expected to cause a geomagnetic storm. Nevertheless, the Arctic sky watchers can expect an uptick in polar auroras, beautiful northern lights. The solar wind speed is 382.8 kilometers per second, density 1.8 protons per cubic centimeter. X-ray solar flare, 6-hour maximum A8, February 12. Today that is, 24 hours, A9, February 12. Surfing the jet stream reduces aviation radiation, they say. Climate change is revving up the jet stream. That's the river of air, which meanders around the North Pole, is quickening, propelling planes across the North Atlantic at record speeds. Just this weekend, February 8th, British Airways Flight 112 rocketed from New York to London, you won't believe it, in 4 hours, 56 minutes, and at one point traveling faster than 825 miles per hour. It was being pushed to London. Why do we care? Because airplanes surfing the jet stream absorb slightly significant less cosmic radiation. Researchers have long known that air travelers are exposed to cosmic rays. At typical cruising altitudes, passengers absorb 50 to 100 times more radiation than they would at sea level. This has led the International Commission on Radiological Protection, ICRP, to classify pilots and flight attendants as occupational radiation workers. Yes, they receive a lot of radiation during their job, obviously. Now, by shortening the flights, the jet stream reduces exposure to cosmic rays. Passengers on board the record-setting British Airways flight spent an hour less at cruising altitude, and according to our modules, the models absorbed about 30% less radiation. 2 Virgin Atlantic flights followed close to the heels of the British Airways and had similar results. These conclusions are based on ERAD, that's a new model for aviation radiation. Since 2015, space weather calculates the collecting X-ray, gamma rays, neutron radiation data on board airplanes. The database contains more than 25,000 radiation measurements over 27 countries, 5 continents, 2 oceans, and ERAD uses these measurements to predict dose rates on flights in regions of the world visited, such as North America. And it's the space weather balloons that measure these radiations. They're equipped with radiation sensors detecting these cosmic rays. The studies furthermore link cosmic rays with cardiac arrhythmias, sudden cardiac death, and the general population. And the latest measurements show that cosmic rays are intensifying with an increase of more than 18% since 2015. When cosmic rays crash into Earth's atmosphere, they produce a spray of secondary particles that is most intense at the entrance to the stratosphere. Physicists Eric Renger and George Potzer discovered the maximum using balloons in the 1930s, and this is still the way it's measured today. Now, why are cosmic rays intensifying? The main reason is the sun. Solar storm clouds, such as coronal mass ejections, CMEs, sweep aside cosmic rays when they pass by the Earth. During solar maximum, CMEs are abundant and cosmic rays are held at bay. But right now, as we are heading into the solar minimum, allowing cosmic rays to return, another reason could be the weakening of Earth's magnetic field. It's the Earth's magnetic field which helps protect us from deep space radiation. Now, concerning the space weather, the solar storm, the hole opening in the atmosphere of the sun, it allows a stream of solar winds to be released, and the hole appears around the equator of the sun, as we said. These particles traveling across solar system are in a collision course with us. And the particles currently making their way across a 150 million kilometer journey for 93 million miles from the sun to the Earth where they're expected to arrive starting Saturday, February 15. The cosmic forecast space weather said an equatorial hole in the sun's atmosphere is facing Earth, spewing a minor stream of solar wind in our direction. Estimated time of arrival, as we said, February 15 and 16. The gaseous material is not expected to cause geomagnetic storm, but Arctic sky watchers can expect a beautiful uptick in polar auroras, the northern lights. This is when what's caused also the Aurora australis, the southern lights, when the solar particles hit Earth's atmosphere. As the magnetosphere gets bombarded by solar winds, we have stunning lights appearing as a layer of atmosphere deflects the particles. Researchers also note consequences of a solar storm and space weather can extend beyond northern and southern lights. For the most part, Earth's magnetic field protects us from the barrage of radiation coming from sunspots, but solar storms can affect satellite-based technology, and solar winds can heat Earth's outer atmosphere, causing it to expand. And this can affect the satellites in orbit, leading to a potential lack of GPS navigation, mobile phone signals, and satellite TVs. And also the surge of particles can lead to high currents in the magnetosphere, which can lead to higher than normal electricity power lines, resulting in electrical transformers and power station blowouts or a loss of power. This happens rarely, and the biggest technology crippling solar storm that came in 1859, known as the Carrington event, was so strong that telegraph systems went down across Europe. There are even reports that some buildings were set on fire as a result of the electricity surge. But a recent study found that these solar storms should happen about every 25 years on average, meaning we are well overdue, they said. Research from the University of Warwick in the UK and the British Antarctic Survey analyzed the last 14 solar cycles dating back 150 years. Their analysis shows that severe magnetic storms occurred in 42 out of the last 150 years, and great superstorms occurred in 6 years out of 150. Researchers said that if it had hit Earth, it could have downed a technology on our planet. Lead author Professor Sandra Chapman, University of Warwick Center for Fusion, Space and Astrophysics said, "These superstorms are rare events, but estimating their chance of occurrence is an important part of planning the level of mitigation needed to protect critical national infrastructure." She said this research proposes a new method to approach historical data to provide a better picture of the chance of occurrence of superstorms, solar storms that is, and what superstorm activity we're likely to see in the future, she said. And this is on Space Weather and Sean Martin, Express UK. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.